Hello everyone, welcome back to some more Rags to Riches with Basingstoke. The preseason is over and it has been very interesting. We've had quite a few transfers, so let's get right into it. First off, how did the preseason games go with all these new teammates? Pretty freaking well, if I gotta say so myself. We won every single preseason game. We beat Anderlecht, we beat Ajax and Feyenoord, we beat Dynamo. Heck, we even beat Bethesda. And yes, apparently there is a team in England called Bethesda. I was not aware of this. But apparently they exist. Sorry, not England, Wales. They're in Wales. But apparently they exist. So there you go. There's Bethesda Athletic. We even beat Bethesda. So we had a phenomenal preseason. I'm honestly blown away at how well it went, especially since pretty much all the games were away games. We went on tour through Germany, and we took on Hertha, Berlin, Kopnik, Darmstadt, and Dresden. We also met Derby in Germany as well at the same time. We went ahead and found them at a neutral location and showed them what for and all of that. So all in all, preseason looking really good. We're going to be starting this season away to Leicester, actually, and then Hull, West Ham. At around the time we'll be doing the next episode, another Hull match, having just played against Leicester again. Probably going to happen, we'll see. The Capital One Cup might mess things up a little bit, and then again, West Ham. We're going to be ending the season against Sheffield Wednesday, and it's a rough end season. United, West Brom, Liverpool, Chelsea, Swansea, Sunderland. Really tough last bit of the season here. So hopefully we're able to turn things around and make sure that we're coming into these games strong. If we can, then we'll be in a good place. So the players for the club this season are hoping for a 5th or 6th place finish. The players want a Euro Cup finish. Maybe even a Champions Cup, but really bare minimum the players want Euro Cup finish. The board, however, they're going for a top half. Right? They're saying finish above 10th. 7th place is where we finished last season. If we can get a repeat, that would be perfect. Let's go for that. So we'll see what happens. Maybe, maybe not. I don't know. FA Cup, we're looking for the 5th round, and Capital One Cup, we're just looking for the 4th round. Plain and simple, nothing too exciting, nothing too wonderful. So that's just where we're kind of going with for all of our competitions. And again, we're looking for the top half finish, and I want to hit Euro Cup and European Champions Cup, and the players want the continental competitions as well. So we'll see if we can get that far. Obviously, Chelsea starting off strong with a win. And again, our first match is against Leicester. So we'll see what happens. So our profit loss this season. So far this season, in the past few months between the last episode and this episode, the club has lost $83 million. So we have $9.4 million left in the bank. They gave me $80 million to play with, so I spent it. I spent pretty much all of the money upgrading the club, upgrading the players, and to some extent also upgrading the tactics just a little bit in the hopes that we can really make something happen. So we'll see if it all pays off. I'm hoping it will. Right now we kind of have a little, I guess, middle finger or something is what this is turning out to be. We'll see. I don't know. I'm sure we'll start making a whole lot more money here very soon, so I'm not too concerned about our $83 million loss, as that should remedy itself by the end of the season. We're expected to make a profit this season of about $80 million. So if we can pull that off, then we'll actually end up making a total $160 million, right? So by mid-season, hopefully we'll have that $80 million back. We'll see. Again, we'll see. It's something I'm hoping that will be the case. So, tactical changes. What happened? We went ahead and changed our team team shape from structured to fluid. So what this means for the team is we used to be structured before, which means you have your role, that's what you do, and you're not going to deviate from that role too much. You know, your wingers are going to stay your wingers, your defenders are going to defend, and your attackers are going to attack. We switched instead to fluid. This just means that your attackers will be also on defense, your defense will be ready to go on the attack, and your midfield's going to do pretty much everything. So hopefully we will be a little bit more successful now that we have better players than we had last season. Hopefully we can utilize their creativity, their vision, and their skill set to really draw forth and create a powerful tactic and a powerful, effective team. And that's what I'm trying to get out of switching to the fluid option here. I don't want to go very fluid yet because we don't have the best team in the world. But just fluid enough that we can beat the teams that are worse than us by using our individual capabilities. Hopefully this doesn't backfire too much. The first several games are going to be rough regardless because we've ended up purchasing so many new players. We got so many players that we didn't have last season that we're still learning the tactics. This right here, we're still working on it. Even after the entire preseason, we still have so many new players and so little time to practice that we're still working on it. So we will have to keep pushing on that front. So let's go ahead and talk about the actual new players that we have here. This is going to be the longest portion of the episode. What are the new players that we have here at the club? It'll be easiest if we just go ahead and look at transfers. So transfer history, your ins and your outs. So first we'll start with the outs. So we sold Najib for $3.8 million. I looked at his overall records, and his year with us in the Premier Division was actually his worst year for him. So we went ahead and sold him. He was actually valued at $11 million, but we had to sell him for $3.8. That's all we could really get out of him. Kind of unfortunate, but you know what? That's okay. I think ultimately we still got a good deal. I don't think he was worth $3.8 million. We made a big profit off of him, so I'm ultimately happy with the deal. We sold Caleb Stanko to Montreal Impact. So Stanko going back to the United States. He is an American international. He's going back to the United States for $900,000. I had another offer for $1.5 million, but they wanted a selling team salary contribution, whereas Montreal Impact was just going to say, hey, we'll pay you $900,000 outright. And so I much prefer that $900,000 outright. I think that's a much better deal than having to pay what they were asking. We sold Van Hoosden to Portsmouth for $750,000. I'm not totally happy with that deal, but at the same time, you know, it's more than I was expecting to get. I wanted to keep. He was not a youth player that I was grabbing to sell. He was a player that I was grabbing to actually have as a backup to my team. But ultimately, Portsmouth offered me a great deal, so we went ahead and sold him anyways. Pierre-Yves Poloma, I was really disappointed with Poloma, so we sold him to Reading. Dwayne Holmes, he did great for us last season, but ultimately, I don't think he's cut out to play in the championship. I don't think he's cut out to play in the premiership. He is cut out to play in the championship. So we sold him as well. Coaco to Charlton. We actually replaced Coaco with Diallo. We'll get to that in a little bit. We sold Haji for a quick $175. It was nice. Joe Allen performed horribly, and on top of that, he was asking for a whole lot more game time, even though he was performing just awfully on the pitch. So we dumped him. It's like, get rid of him. We don't want him. And then Louis Thompson, we ultimately opted to sell to Nottingham Forest. And actually, Nottingham Forest picking up both Louis Thompson and Dwayne Holmes. They're a pair that knows how to work together. They do a really great job together. So I think Nottingham Forest will have a really strong midfield, picking them both up from us. We sold Robert Neighbor to Gateshead on a free for $0. Ultimately, he did great for Dover. Dover didn't want him. Gateshead took him, and I'm sure he'll do great. Good luck to him. We gave back in Will Walker, Gervinho, and Granger, all free transfers. And then we gave a lot of loan deals out. So Birkeland, the striker the Norwegian striker that's looking like he'll be a great deal for us. We actually loaned him out to the Wolves, and he'll be a rotation player for the Wolves. Here at Basingstoke, he would actually be like third, maybe fourth string. Probably wouldn't play him that often. So he's slightly more important at the Wolves than he would be for us. So he's over there at the Wolves, and I hope he does a great job. I honestly, genuinely want him to do a fantastic job for the Wolves because I want him to become a better player. Grimaldi's over at Peterborough. Edwards is at Millwall. Edwards looking to be a solid player in the future, and Grimaldi already pretty close to being as great a striker as he's going to be. But I'm hoping. I'm hopeful. And then Dover picking up 4 of our players. Beef Tink, the Canadian. Joe Hallahan, someone coming through our own youth system for a long time, I believe. Becca, a decent striker. And then Charlebout as well. I believe he came through our youth system. So Dover picking up 4 of our players. They absolutely love the players that we've given them. And I hope they do a really great job. It's interesting, they're setting up Beef Tink to play mid-center. But Beef Tink is perfect for Dover because they're running a defensive midfielder and a midfielder setup. So Beef Tink can go ahead and play both of those. So, congratulations to him. He'll probably get a lot of game time. It's a great skill for him. So, all in all, that's I hope they do well. They're in League 2. Actually, where is their season preview for Dover? They're expected to be 23rd. Now, I don't think that's where they're going to finish. I think they had a great season. I think they're going to avoid relegation. I think they'll avoid the drop. But we'll see what happens. We gave them a lot of solid players, so we'll see what happens. So the players that we brought in. So, this is where things get a little expensive. Bryce Diallo was our biggest transfer. He was the person that we brought in to replace Koiko. He's a solid Ivorian international. And we bought him from Fenerbahce for $25 million. Silva, we bought from Tottenham, as well as Eric Lamela. People might know Lamela's name. He's a pretty famous offensive player there. But we also brought in Silva on defense, both from Tottenham. Both of them were unhappy that Tottenham was relegated. So I feel like that was a great buy, picking those 2 up. We also brought in Guy Doumbia from Galatasaray for $15 million. Juan Carlos Amodio from Lanús for $5 million. Now, this guy is a relative unknown, 20-year-old Argentinian. I think he's a solid player, honestly. He's well-suited to Premier Division soccer. And I think that he will be able to do a good job for us. If we can make him just a little bit faster, I think he will be a phenomenal, phenomenal defense for us. Also bringing in Marcus Bettinelli. So Marcus, he was not wanted at the Wolves. We wanted to bring him in because Takahito is currently playing for Japan. He sometimes has to leave while we still have matches to play. So Bettinelli will be a nice replacement for Takahito when Takahito's not around. We also picked up Motoki Ozawa. Now, I believe, he doesn't have a work permit. So Japan doesn't feel like he's a good enough player to have a work permit, despite him being a very prominent first-team Japanese player. They want him to stay out of England. I said, I don't care. I'm signing him anyways. Regardless of whether or not he has a work permit, I'm signing him, and I will pay him the $30,000 per week. I'm signing him for 5 years. Because this guy, it doesn't say that in here, he is worth $3.7 million in marketability per year. Now that means that we are spending $1.5 million per year on his salary, and we're also spending another like $2 million to bring him in. I think it was we spent about $2.5 million total to bring this guy in. So our first year expenditure, $4 million. He alone is going to bring in $3.7 million in jersey sales, which means for the remaining 4 years of his contract, he is pure profit. Work permit or not, he's going to sell us a lot of jerseys. He's going to do great for Japan. And honestly, I'm super excited to have him sell jerseys for us. So he's a big purchase for us economically. We also brought in Andre Dozel. I'm surprised we got him for 1.5 million. He's a phenomenal midfield center. For 1.5 million, that's an absolute coup in my opinion. I'm happy to bring him in, and I look forward to playing him quite a bit. On the free side, we've actually got no Curry. He finally listened to us. He wouldn't listen to us while he was still contracted to Barcelona. He finally listened to us. We were able to pick him up, and we'll be playing him as a first team in our team. We brought in Sebastian Corchia. He's our new captain, and he's a solid defender right-left. Hopefully, he will be a nice replacement for Polo Ma. Subotic, a name that people might know, comes from Newcastle. Solid defender. A little slow, but I'm hoping that he'll do well. Florian Kainz, looking to go up there. He'll be competing with Lamela in offense. Endo, I'm looking to hopefully do a good job with him in offense as well as a solid striker. Doumbia in defense. Reda Ba, offense. And then Tyler Edwards and John Warren as youth prospects. So, all in all, that breaks down our team to be looking like this for the next season. So if you'll remember, Carvalho was basically our best player last season at 3.5 stars, I believe. Or no, Palacios was also 4.5. And so it's not, they've actually gotten better over the season. But the entire quality of the team has increased to the point that now their star ratings have gone down since last season, but they are better players since last season. So it is worth mentioning that our team has increased so much that a lot of other players' star ratings have gone down. So I look forward to seeing what this new team can do. I'm very excited in seeing what the whole team can do. Lamela will be playing on the left side with Kynes, and he's 3.5 stars still, being at a solid player. So Mbop, actually 2.5 stars, being our best player last season, 2.5 stars. So again, we'll see what this new team can do. I'm not quite sure, but I am excited to find out. So all of our strikers are about the same, except for Aguirre. But Endo and Reda Ba are the same. So anyways, yeah, that's totally how the team is looking, and I'm hoping to see a nice, solid season. The board is still working on training facilities and youth facilities. I don't think there's anything else I can ask for. No, not really. We have new coaching staff and new scouting staff, but I mean, aside from that, there's not a whole lot more to really talk about. So, thank you all for watching. If you like the video, give it a like, subscribe to the channel, and share with your friends. Best thing to do for the channel is to share the video. Thank you to Amphit for being a Patreon supporter, and I will see you all next time with more Rags to Riches with Basingstoke. I'm super excited about this season, and I am excited about our prospects at finishing in the top 6. I'm shooting for top 6. Let's do better than last year. So again, thanks for watching. I will see you guys at the January transfer window in DFTBA.